All right. Welcome into LFFL Prime Time, the fastest 5 minutes in the LFFL universe. We're going to go fast today because we got some good playoff talk. Looking at the original league, got Greg over Andy, Matt over Josh. Both those wins locked in playoff spots for them. Eric over Todd, Bill and myself win to lock in bye weeks. Looking at the standings, Bill and myself, as I say, bye weeks here. Todd, Phil, Matt, all in the playoffs. Greg, Andy, Eric, all tied for that playoff spot. Greg, with a huge scoring week, takes that final spot. Here is your bracket. Got myself as the number one seed with both Phil and Matt on my side of the bracket, meaning we will definitely have at least one old school team representing in the Super Bowl this year. Got Bill as the two seed down there with Greg and Todd on the bottom half. Here are your playoff notes for the year. Number 3, Todd versus number 6, Greg. Todd leads 20-9 all time. Todd won in week 6. Todd has lost 3 straight, but did lead the league in scoring this year. 13-13 all time in the playoffs with 5 Super Bowl trips and 3 titles to his name. Greg lost 3 of his last 5, so neither team particularly hot. Big win last week with a big number, pushed him into 4th in scoring on the year. 12-10 all time in the playoffs. 5 Super Bowl trips, 3 titles. These two have met twice in the playoffs. Greg winning Super Bowl number 9 over Todd. Todd did turn around to win the wild card game back in 2016. Looking ahead to a good old-fashioned old-school game. Could be the 1990s in this one. Phil against Matt. Phil leads the series 37-23. Matt did win in week 6. Matt is also sporting a 3-game winning streak. Playoff appearance number 19 for Matt. 14-16 record. Here's a surprise. 5 Super Bowl trips, 3 titles in this league. Phil has won 2 of 3 heading into the playoffs. So we got 2 pretty hot teams here. Phil did struggle in the playoffs in this league specifically. 9-16 is all. 3 Super Bowl trips, just a single title to his name, the 95 magical season. 1-1 all time in the playoffs. Both games came from the 90s. It is hard to believe these two haven't met in so long in the playoffs. Phil beat Matt in the 95 semis and was route to the title. And then Matt turned around to beat Phil in the 96 semis. Looking at the LFFL2, Bill has a stranglehold. Bill beat Miles this week. Sean turned up on Greg. Eric beat Phil. The Merrills beat Andy after a tiebreaker. Todd beat myself. If you look at the standings, Bill is 2 up on Eric with a commanding lead in points scored on Eric. Bill is 3 up on Greg, who's the closest in points scored to him, but 3 up with 4 to play. And if you just note, Bill is just 1 game left for the team with a winning record. Also, 3 up on Sean and a commanding lead of points scored there. So Bill is looking real good here. Bill versus Andy, Eric versus Greg in a huge game. Sean versus Todd, Phil versus Miles, and the Merrills versus myself. LFFL3, it is playoff time over here. Eric beat Phil. Greg beat Bill. Matt Merrill beat Miles. Todd beat Andy, and Matt Brennan beat me. We had a big cluster at the top. Phil, Matt Merrill, Eric, and Bill, all at 8-5. Phil and Matt end up with the bye weeks based off points scored. Miles and Matt Brennan clinch the last 2 playoff spots. Here is your bracket. Got Phil as the 1 seed with Miles and Bill on his side of the bracket. Got Matt Merrill as a 2 seed with Matt Brennan and Eric on that side. Looking at these notes, Greg, myself, Andy, Todd, the 4 teams that missed the playoffs, have accounted for all the active titles in this league. That means the 6 teams that made the playoffs, one of you all will be winning your first ever LFFL3 title. I am so happy for somebody. Eric is by far the most experienced of the playoff teams playing this weekend. Eric's 4th trip to the playoffs in the last 5 seasons. 7-6 all time, 2 Super Bowl trips, but is yet to taste glory. Matt Brennan is inaugural season. Bill 2-5 all time. Miles 0-1 all time. Both Miles and Bill lost wild card games last year, so it should be an exciting week of wild card action to see who moves on for that chance for their inaugural title. We had the LFFL4. I won this week, a close one over Greg, my 3rd win of the year, 17th overall. Greg's having a crazy year. 1st or 2nd in half the week, 7-14. Greg has a nice size lead still at this point with 5 weeks to play. Bill and myself in 2nd, Eric in 3rd, Eric in 4th, Matt Brennan in 5th, Nate in 6th. Looking at the LFFL5, Greg and Eric both with solid leads, but certainly still very much in play as we move to week 2. Looking at the LFFL6, we had 2 new monthly leaders here. Greg in March, Matt in July take over new leads. Greg now leads in 3 months, but still can't catch Todd. Todd did drop a little bit this week, but still has a lead over Greg and myself. And as I said, I think the 3 of us are realistically the only 3 that have a chance at this one. Matt Merrill did move the most, gaining almost a half a point in the standings. Look at this. Bill Berardi, your LFFL7 champion, did not lose his head. This is Bill's 3rd title in 5 seasons after winning absolutely nothing for like the first 15 years. And he's looking at that keeper title. He's in the mix in some other leagues. Go get him, Bill. Look at this. Bill leading the way in the Player of the Year award. Woo! Can anybody stop him? Good luck this week.